What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome back to my banner review series for Fire Emblem Heroes. In this series I do an in-depth review of the newly released banner and tell you guys how good the units are on that banner and if that banner is worth summoning on or not. If you already have these units, then I also go over their best inheritance options. So we recently got our first Radiant Dawn banner featuring Micaiah, Zelgius and Sothe. So let's begin with Micaiah. Micaiah is true to her source material. Just like Radiant Dawn, Micaiah has got a good attack stat and a very high res and low HP and speed stat, and of course the defense of a tissue paper that she's known for. With Tiny Tome she can reach 38 res, which is ridiculous for an unmerged and unboosted unit and makes her the perfect user of skills like attack ploy and res ploy. Due to her low speed, she's prone to getting doubled quite a lot, but it's enough to double some armored units who are not running very fighter skill. But if those armored units have got disencountered, then Micaiah will have trouble surviving even one hit from them. Micaiah's attack is solid for a mage and fantastic for a unit with a weapon that provides type effectiveness. She also has a super bane in defense, meaning that she gets -4 to her stat instead of -3. Her BST is 151, which is same as loot, and it is boosted BST. Her weapon is Thani, which gives her +3 res and has type effectiveness against armored and cavalry units both, which is essentially over half of the units you're going to be facing in tier 20 arena. It also reduces damage from 2 range armor units and horse units by 30%. It's also quite interesting how they have mentioned armored dagger and armored staff and also cavalry dagger in that description. She's the first unit in the game with an exclusive as a skill. Sacrifice is not inheritable to any unit and has got Harsh Command built into it. It works like how it did in Radiant Dawn and recovers HP of an ally even if the ally has got higher HP than her, unlike Reciprocal Aid, and she will heal up as much HP as she possibly can on that ally. This is better than Ardent Sacrifice basically. Her slotty skill is Distant Defense, which allows her to reach 44 res in the enemy phase and helps her survive many ranged threats. Guard 3 is her slot B skill and honestly it's not needed on her. I know it's pretty good in a metagame where Steady Breath is very common, but a Steady Breath Dragon will still be able to smoke Micaiah with their Refined Breath and just target her defense instead. And even without guard skill, Micaiah can survive against a +10 merge, Quick on Pulse Moonbow Reinhardt, and guard only helps her survive against that kind of Reinhardt if he has got a Horse Emblem buff. Also, guard does not have very good synergy with sacrifice. Her slot C skill is drive attack 2, which makes for a good support skill. I'm honestly really surprised that a unit like her, who has got this high res, does not have a default ploy skill of some sort to make use of that res. Her base kit is quite good for the most part, and overall Micaiah is a very solid blue mage and the only unit in the game with type effectiveness against 2 of the most common unit types. She's going to be helping you a lot in arena. Even when she's not facing against any kind of unit, she can support your team with sacrifice, so it gives her a nice utility. For Skeletons, here are some of the main sets which you can run on her. The first set in my opinion is a fantastic set which both is easy to build and also works well in arena. Even if you've got a minus attack or minus speed Micaiah, you can run the first set, and personally I'm gonna be running this set on my Micaiah. The reason why it's so good is because it can easily take care of the dreaded Bravelyn and Reinhardt combo, which is so common and annoying in arena. As I've said before, Micaiah can take on a +10 merge Quick on Pulse Moonbow Reinhardt, and then she's gonna be in the Vantage range and she will have her Iceberg ready, and after a Bravelyn initiates a combat on a Vantage Micaiah, she's gonna be able to nuke any kind of Bravelyn other than Fire Sweep variant of course with an Iceberg. Even if you've got no Reinhardt to bait in an arena match, Vantage still synergizes well with sacrifice, and here are some of the things which you have to keep in mind while running this set. If you have a minus res Micaiah, then I highly suggest you to run Fortify Res Sacred Seal or something like that on your team. The first set we are talking about can also take on a +10 merge Molagir Bravelyn that's plus attack IV. If you do not have Iceberg fodder, then Glimmer can also be run on her because it's a pretty good alternative with a low cooldown, and Glimmer is of course pretty good on units who have got good attack stats and who also have type effectiveness against certain units. You can also run this set with Close Counter and Vantage to maximize her effectiveness against armor and cavalry units, and in Vantage range she can one-shot a lot of units. The second set makes her into a great enemy phase mage tank, and with double distant defense she can reach 50 res in the enemy phase, which is so much. If you're running Quick Repose, then you should remove Sacrifice as your assist skill because it has got bad synergy with Quick Repose. And the third set utilizes Desperation and Brash Assault and reaching Brash Assault's range is not very hard for Micaiah because of sacrifice, and with Death Blow and Desperation she can double attack enemies who can counter attack, and this also includes distant counter armored units. So basically, because Hector has got distant counter, this makes Micaiah double attack him, and she can one round KO a +10 merge Hector who has got 2 ward armor buffs and distant defense secret seal when she's in the Brash Assault range. So this set can be quite fun. Now let's move on to Sothe. Sothe has got decent HP and a very high base attack of 36, which is highest for a dagger unit, and with his legendary weapon, he can reach 50 attack and 55 with his default life and death. His speed is pretty good for a dagger unit at base 33, and it becomes even better with life and death, and his defense and res are both below average, so Sothe is a glass cannon pretty much. He has also got boosted BST just like New Year's Takumi. His weapon is Peshkat's the S rank dagger from Radiant Dawn, and in heroes, after combat, it can debuff enemies within 2 spaces with -4 to all of their stats while simultaneously boosting all of the stats of allies within 2 spaces by +4. This makes him a great unit to be paired up with Blade Tome Mages, and he can also work pretty well with a unit like Gunthra. This also goes well with the fact that he's a player phase unit, because if he gives the buffs to his allies in the enemy phase, then your buffs will vanish on the player phase. So him being mainly a player phase unit is pretty good compared to someone like Light Breath plus Faye. Peshkat's also has a very high might of 14, which is highest for a non-refined dagger. His special is Glimmer, which is decent with his high base attack, but something like Luna could help him take on tanks much easily, and something like Draconic Aura would be much more consistent. He also comes with Life and Death, which is perfect for a glass cannon like him. His slot C skill is Spur Attack Speed 2, which I think is the best spur skill in the game, so this can stack up with the buffs he has given to his allies with Peshkat's, essentially giving allies who are one tile near him +7 attack and +7 speed, which is incredible. Sothe is the best dagger unit in the game in my opinion. Previously, New Year's Takumi was the best dagger unit, but it didn't take very long for Sothe to change that. Sothe easily changes that because of his higher attack and the amazing utility his dagger provides. So not only he can hit hard for a dagger unit, but also help his allies hit much harder and also help them tank hits thanks to his buffs and debuffs. So here are some of the skill inheritance options for him. The first set is a nice budget set that functions very well in the player phase, and you can always replace Glimmer with something like Luna or Draconic Aura. Even if you've got a minus attack Sothe, you could definitely run the first set. The second set is a Water Sweep or Wind Sweep set, and it's up to you which skill you want to run. Wind Sweep could help you more in higher arena as you face a lot of distant counter units, and Water Sweep is useful against mages and dragons. Basically, it allows Sothe to reliably buff your team with his Peshkats while also giving debuffs to his enemies. The sweep skill which you're going to be running depends on your allies. If you're really weak to distant counter units like Effie and Amelia, then go with Wind Sweep. If not, just go with Water Sweep. The third set is for people who have pulled a minus speed IV Sothe. With minus speed IV, it becomes hard for him to run a good Desperation set, so you can always just go with Swordbreaker or Vantage for his slot B if you've got him with minus speed IV, and you can obviously even run something like Poison Dagger on him because of his high base attack, but I personally do not think that it's worth ditching the utility of Peshkats for doing effective damage against some units. Now let's move on to the last unit from this banner, Zelgius. Zelgius is pretty much a better version of Black Knight, and in this case, it somewhat does make sense for the stat difference he has compared to Black Knight, because this Zelgius is from Radiant Dawn, and there is 3 years of gap between the events of Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn. Zelgius has got a pretty good HP stat, but it's still lower compared to a lot of the armored units, and his base attack is quite high at base 36, and his speed is base 33, which is neither too good or too bad. He has got a really high defense stat, and his res is quite low. He has got boosted BST, which ties him with Christmas armored units at the second spot for the highest BST in the game. Only Christmas Lissa has got 1 more BST point than him. He retains his Alondite and Black Luna from his original version, and Black Luna, as we all know, is a really broken special and allows a strong unit like him to even crush a lot of the blue units. His slot A skill is Fierce Stance, which gives him +6 attack in the enemy phase. With this, he can reach 58 attack in the enemy phase, which allows him to hit really hard, and coupled with Black Luna, he can one round KO a lot of units in the game. His slot B skill is an exclusive skill and it's Warp Powder, which is a pretty nice reference, and it's not really the best skill, but it can be fun to use and makes his mobility amazing on mixed movement teams. This can also be pretty helpful in getting arena defense wins, but still something like Quick Riposte or Vengeful Fighter would be a lot better and consistent and help him get a lot of one-round KOs. His slot C skill is Panic Ploy, which is actually pretty good with his HP stat, and Panic Ploy is quite useful as buffs are quite common, especially on emblem teams. Overall, Zelgius is a great top tier unit with amazing physical bulk and power. Here are some of his skill inheritance options. You can obviously run just an assist skill on him and run his default skill set and call it a day, but you can also run the first set. Quick Riposte, like I said, gives him a lot of one-round KOs, and you want to run Heavy Blade Sacred Seal so that Zelgius can always proc Black Luna in one round in the enemy phase. This set can also be run with any kind of IV Zelgius. Even if you've got minus attack IV in the enemy phase, he can still reach 55 attack with Fierce Stance, which is pretty good for Heavy Blade procs. The second set can also be run if you've got a spare Brave Ike, and Zelgius is one of the best users of Steady Breath in the game because of his broken special Black Luna, and this can be run if you do not have Vengeful Fighter fodder available. Vengeful Fighter works amazingly with Black Luna and allows him to proc that every round in the enemy phase if the opponent does not have Sword Breaker or Very Fighter skill. He also has some more expensive sets. You can run a double resistant defense set which lets him reach 50 defense and 33 res in the enemy phase against range units, and the fifth set is a Bullfighter set that can be used in player phase, and you can run a Brazen skill if you have got the fodder, or just run Death Blow on him and he can do really well in the player phase with this set. Brazen skills work quite good with him, and the defense from it also helps him stay in the Vengeful Fighter range, but the downside of that is that he needs to take some damage to enter their range. But once he's in that range, then he becomes a monster. So now I will give you guys my final verdict on this banner. Micaiah is obviously the best unit from this banner and is definitely worth pulling for. And if you have already spent quite a lot of orbs for her and you didn't get her, then my advice would be to collect the orbs from the upcoming mini Tempest trial and save them for the 1-year anniversary event instead. 1-year anniversaries are a very big thing in gacha games, and for the 6-month anniversary we got Choose Your Legends units and a free 5-star unit from that. So it was a really good time, as you guys remember, so do not hastily spend all of your orbs into this banner because of Micaiah. Micaiah is obviously such a good unit that she's most likely going to be returning on a Legendary Hero Summon banner sometime in future, so then you can try to get her if you didn't get her now, and try to consider the 1-year anniversary which is coming up. There are many things which intelligent systems can do for that event, and you can always wait till the last few days of this banner and then summon on it after seeing what the next banner is, because by that time we will most likely know what is to come for the 1-year anniversary event. So that is gonna be it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, then please be sure to leave a like, and if you haven't already, then make sure to subscribe for more Fire Emblem Heroes content which I'm gonna be uploading in future. So with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.